Good morning, everyone. Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. Today is Saturday, April 17th, or Sunday, April 18th, if you're in Australia and New Zealand. The moon starts the day in Gemini, shifting into Cancer here on the East Coast around 3:26 p.m. So we go from a mentally, sort of more mental experience of our feelings to certainly a more feeling experience of our feelings. As of course Cancer is ruled by the moon and knows how to feel, or knows what it feels like to feel, but doesn't always know what it's feeling. I think that's what I want to say. So I thought I would take you up here at the top of the yard. We haven't been up here in a long time. Without Boo rolling around in the grass. It's just grass. But I just thought I would show you that this beautiful little peach tree is blooming. So that's promising. All right. Yeah, this makes the sweetest little like mini peaches. They're really quite delicious, but it's so pretty, isn't it? The flowers. Flowers in her hair, flowers everywhere. These next to these little trees, these are cherries. They've never done as well as the peach here. And then we have another peach. I will get to the astrology. It's actually one of those days that is quite a lot happening, and you could pick one thing and talk at least a half hour about it, but I'm not going to keep you here for a long time. But just some pretty views around the yard. Over here, this is actually the first thing that blooms, and I did not bring you over for it, but these are pussy willows actually, and my husband says they smell good, so I can't smell them, maybe because they're all wet. But looks like they bloomed and then it rained, and I think all that yellow stuff might be pollen. I'm not sure. Wow, that's neat. And then look at these roundy things. I don't know what those are. Like at the nodes there? I don't know what that is. I've never seen that. Maybe Michael knows. Here's another one. It looks like some sort of egg case, perhaps for, what do you call those? Though it doesn't kind of look like that. I'll have to ask my husband, Michael. He usually knows what this stuff is. Praying mantises, maybe. That would be my guess, but I'm not sure. There's some daffodils that come up first thing as well. This is the furthest. Let me see, that tree right there with the stone wall, that's ours. And of course our neighbors, they have a stone wall as well. But that's the furthest east, I think. That's the eastern corner of the property. And then you can see from here the center down there, where we do our magic. All right, let's talk about the astrology now that I've given you a little bit of a tour of the Upper Peninsula here. So there's a lot of activity. There may be people out there that didn't have any luck sleeping. I was not one of them, mainly through exhaustion. So, but we had a trine of Mars to Jupiter, and trines are energy that flows. It's a flowing energy. There is nothing that, oh dear, we have a tree down here. There is nothing that impedes that flow. And Mars, of course, in Gemini, can be a torrent of information. Trine Aquarius there, the idea of out-of-the-box solutions. So there's a lot of creative solutions out there. There's also a lot of action based on belief, because Jupiter is belief, and Jupiter does rule the south node of the moon right now. And so some of our past beliefs are coming up. Some people are standing by them very, very strongly, while others are not, are letting go of beliefs that no longer serve. That is the healthier situation, but not the situation everybody decides to take. So be aware of that. Be aware of that. There's lots of people who refuse to be more open-minded about things. We live with that, and just be aware and take care with that stuff. Because sometimes you don't really know who you're talking to, right? Okay, so we also have the moon make a trine to Jupiter shortly after Mars does, and then Mars makes a conjunction to the moon. So this is acting on our feelings. So to say that there's a possibility of rash action today would be an understatement, and it can be good. Rash is never good. Instinctual is better, if you want to call it that, if you feel that it's an instinctual thing, if it's coming from it comes from a different place actually than the rational stuff does. But on the side of the rational, we do have a supportive sextile between Mercury, the planet of the rational mind, and Jupiter in Aquarius. So there are a lot of solutions to our problems. We do not have to go out there and bang heads or shoot people to get our point across. It's not necessary. There's plenty of openings for us to talk to one another and to get to know one another that doesn't have to do with violence. We do have a square though between Mercury and Pluto today. The first quarter crisis in action square, seated at the conjunction of the Sun and Pluto. Pluto-Sun synodic cycles deal with what are your what are your desires, right? What are your unconscious desires, Pluto, and how will they be expressed in this most recent synodic cycle? Expression being Mercury, right? Gathering information, communicating information, all Mercury stuff. And Mercury was the only god who could go down to Hades and come back unscathed. So he was a special case. No other god was allowed down into the underworld besides Pluto, and of course his wife Persephone, who he had for half the year, and then Mercury can go down to the underworld and come back, and in that journey bring important information. So be open to important information that's coming out and acting on that information. Again, be aware and take care. None of it is we're in new territory here, guys, and we're going to have to learn how to work with the power that we have. And we actually have some prodigious power. It's just not typically what has been defined perhaps as power previously. So just be aware of that. So that was the walkabout. I wanted you to see the upper yard, and you can see here that we have a lot of the tulips starting to open up. And yesterday it did snow, but luckily we didn't get anything near what other parts of Massachusetts got. They actually got I think 6 inches, which would have been a real bummer for all these flowers here. So luckily we only got a coating of slush, and the flowers around here are pretty hardy, like the folk. All right, let's see if there's anything else I want to talk about with astrology. I know I've sort of been meandering a bit. Tomorrow, for some people today, so I'll mention it because it happens a couple of minutes into Sunday here for me, is an inconjunction between Mars and Saturn. An inconjunction between Mars and Pluto. Of course, Pluto's in Aquarius, Pluto is in Pluto is in Capricorn. I'm jumping ahead, ain't I? And Mars is in Gemini. This is a challenging aspect. It's an aspect where it's very easy to miss the mark. Adjustments need to be made. Mental adjustments need to be made. This can be a highly stressful mental time. So if there are people who you know who have mental illness, this is a challenging time for them. So keep them in your hearts and keep an eye on them. All right, guys, much love. Take care, and I will see you again soon. Like and subscribe.